Most of the books that we read were books that that maybe should have been discarded from Stephen F. Austin. They were secondhand, and that was probably why they said separate but equal, and we found out it really wasn't equal. We weren't really getting the same materials that people at SFA was getting. But the teachers we had were great because they made up for that lack of things that we had in books. They had experience, and they shared those experiences with us. Mrs. Lane, who taught chemistry, Irene Lane, was probably one of the sharpest scientific minds in this area, and we were fortunate. She could hold her own in any society, white, black, or whatever, she was just that sharp. So we had the benefit of teachers like that who went beyond what was traditional or expected. And then discipline wasn't a problem because you saw these teachers every day, Not only did you see them in the classroom, but you would see them in the churches that you attended or any other outside activities you participated in. Those people were around because the community was more embracing or more profound because most of your blacks stayed in one area. That changed, East Side, West Side. When they built East Park, then you had people who started moving in East Park. And then as they moved out to East Park, then they started moving over behind Bryan High School and everything. We just moved everywhere. Wherever you could, in terms of economics, you moved there. So it changed the outlook in terms of your environment, in terms of what you come in contact with. However, I chose to stay in the black community, basically. Even now, my home is in a predominantly black neighborhood, and that is changing now because of economics, people are moving out and other people are moving in. So it's becoming more diverse, but at the time that I moved, it was predominantly a black community. We have a lot more Hispanic peoples in the neighborhood, and there are some whites that are moving in the old neighborhood.
What about parks, pools, anything run by the Parks and Recreation Department? Tell me about
Yes,
the
we did. Sadie Thomas Park was, and we did have, we call it Scurry Park now, we used to call it Oak Grove. But it's in the black area, in the Washington Heights area, and then you had Sadie Thomas on the east side. And Sadie Thomas was a good experience because that was where we had our baseball field for those of us who played Little League, and I was one of them. You had the swimming pool right down from the park, and then in the area there's a playground area now. We used to call that the Grove, and people like Mel Pruitt and Buster Pruitt had a contract with the city where they actually showed movies, outdoor movies at that time. We had a snow cone stand. We had everything else that they was having at the white parks in our black parks. We had a wading pool at that time. They don't do that anymore, but had a wading pool for those kids who were small and too small to get into the swimming pool. They had a wading pool. In the summers, we had programs at Oak Grove, which is now Scurry Park, at Neal Park, which was Williamson Park at that time, where they would hire people in the summer to come in and engage in games and wading pool activities for kids who lived in those areas. So, like I said, we were poor, but we didn't realize we were poor because a lot of attributes and things that they were doing in other communities, we were actually doing it here.